Hello again, YouTube land. My traditional greeting. So this week has been kind of off and odd as far as posting, more the way I had originally been doing this, than anything else because life got crazy, as lives are wont to do. So after I got home from seeing my sister and her nephew and such, I wrote her a letter with just, big sister stuff, I love you, I'm glad I was able to see you, I'd love to see if you could try doing this, and a couple of helpful tips. Apparently, she took it differently. My husband said to me, well, I kind of warned you that would happen. Your way of saying things is pretty upfront, and your sister's not so great at hearing anything. And I'm not suggesting that my husband is pretending to be a know-it-all. There are times he is, in fact, quite remarkably observant. This is one of those times. Unfortunately, when I got the text from my sister bitching to me about my letter, I had forgotten that he'd said it. But I texted my dad, our dad, my sister and I texted our dad, like, WTF, dude? Huh? And he called me back this morning because he was working overnight, and he was like, you guys are different people. I mean, you're a lot alike. Your sisters, obviously, but you're different people. I mean, she doesn't handle things the way you do, and she doesn't take information the way you do, and you're not as social as she often is, and it's true. I don't know why so many of my family members feel the need to tiptoe around telling me what my bad personality traits are. I have them in abundance. It's not like I don't know that. I've been told that my whole life. But I can. I mean, there are situations where I get very my way or the highway. My sister and I both get that from our mother. She does it too. Hate summer. Dry out like the fucking Gobi. But that's enough about my sister. So this is June. This is a month of many things. The most notable socially is that it's Pride. June is nationally recognized, I believe, as Pride Month for the LGBTQ community, I think is what we're now referring to ourselves as. There's so many letters. It's alphabet soup, really. The fabulous community. Let's say that. So this is the month for fabulousness, and the more I got to know my husband before he was my husband, the more I realized exactly how fitting it is that June is the month of his birthday. You'd have to know my husband to really understand all the subtle nuances involved in that statement, but it's true. And he loves it. He's convinced that the New York City Pride Parade, which falls the weekend of the week of his birth, is for him. Some rational part of his brain knows it's not necessarily true, but about 90% of his brain says, no, it's for me. It's a birthday parade. That's what it is. I've gotten tired of trying to dash that illusion. Now it's just a question of whether or not I feel like joining the parade with him and his friends from his college and marching with their group. I'm thinking this year, I don't know. I've been in a lot of pain lately. I've been doing a lot more this summer than most summers. I have no idea if I'll have the tolerance for it. What else? On the cooking front, my herb gardens, I say gardens because there's 3 different planters, are actually doing quite well. I used some of the fresh cut from the garden basil in a dish of food I served Sam the other night. Smelled great, tasted fine, no complaints. Tonight I plan on making jumbo stuffed shells with ricotta, the parsley, the basil, and possibly some garlic. I'm going to roast off a whole big whack of garlic in olive oil, and I think I might blend some of that into the ricotta mixture. Unfortunately, I have to buy red sauce most of the time. I know how to make it. My mother used to make it all the time. It took 3 days on the stove, constantly cooking. Ugh. Talk about an ordeal. Delicious, don't get me wrong, it was good sauce. Or gravy, as Italians call it. Excuse me. This massive pot, but I don't have the cookware. I don't have the time. And we have a cat. I'm not leaving anything burning for 3 days unless I plan on being here that entire time. But yes, cooking. So that's what I'm making tonight. And when I roast off all that garlic, I'm going to use it to make garlic bread. Excuse me. Which is something I've done with several other recipes. But now that I've really gotten, like legitimately gotten the hang of roasting garlic in the oven in olive oil, never again will I probably make it any other way. It's garlicky, but it's sweet. It's like, when you roast garlic, it becomes remarkably sweet. I mean, most people don't appreciate this. Garlic, as strong as it is raw, gets sweeter as you cook it. Watch a cooking show on Food Network. Good Eats. There's a whole garlic episode. I think it's called In the Bulb of the Night. I have it on DVD. But it gets sweeter the longer you cook it, because everything that makes garlic what it is kind of goes the longer you heat it. So when you roast it, it becomes this sweet, yet subtly still garlic, mushy awesomeness. So now that I've gotten the hang of actually doing that, that's what I'm going to do from now on. On another cooking front, and adding a secondary topic, Sam's boss, I don't know if I mentioned this, was promoted. He is now the either vice president or president of the store that they work in. I think it's vice president. It doesn't matter. The point is he got promoted. So now they're trying to figure out if he's going to just move upstairs and they'll get someone to replace him or what. But he is a nice guy. My husband, in that respect, got lucky that 90%, 95% of the people he works with in his department, he likes, he gets along with. And when he's not around and I'm there volunteering, like this morning, they say nice things about him. They like him. He's quiet and very laid back. He doesn't talk to too many people too much. But he's always helpful, and he's always friendly. So they like him. And he likes his boss. And his boss actually was invited to our wedding. And he came. His wife's a teacher. Unfortunately, she couldn't come. It was on a Friday. And we went to a related party, actually, for his wedding. 2 years, a year or two, before we even got, I think, engaged. So it had to have been a couple of years before our wedding. Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to look at a calendar. Oh my god, time passes too quick. In any event, he got promoted. And I have a tendency to make things for people as a congratulations or because you're awesome or, you know, whatever. And one of the cookbooks I got recently, and I know I've mentioned it, is all about whoopie pies, which are a New England delicacy. Maine, in fact, has tried several times to pass a law making it like the official state dessert or something nonsensical like that. I don't know. Because there's this diehard belief in Maine that that's where it was invented, and anywhere else it's popular is because of Maine. I really don't give a damn, but I got a book of recipes for fillings and whoopie pie cake recipes, and I decided to make his boss a batch of vanilla cake, whoopie pies with... There's a couple different filling recipes. One of them is called the Grover because it's vanilla buttercream frosting, but it's got blue food coloring in it to, you know, resemble Grover. And there's another one. Now here's the creative copyright sidestepping, called Almond Joyous, where in the buttercream frosting, instead of using vanilla extract or vanilla, depending on what kind of a purist you are, you use almond extract, which I don't think you can use the same. Like, I think for almond and certain nut flavors, you have to use extract because the nut itself can't be distilled really organically. I mean, vanilla is a different kind of cooking animal than an almond, and it's organic from the ground state. So I decided to use the blue food coloring, but use almond flavoring instead. So these were vanilla whoopie pies with blue colored, almond flavored buttercream frosting. I ended up making him about a dozen of them. I told him, you know, they're for you, they're a congratulatory gift. And the joke was that Sam had come home the night before and he said, yeah, he saw the picture you tagged him in of you baking and he wanted to know if those were cupcakes, if I could remember to bring him one. And I went, well, they're whoopie pies and the entire batch is for him to do with as he pleases. But these whoopie pies freeze for up to a month. If you have a bad Sugar Jones, you just spend one day properly baking. Not even a day. I mean, you double make the batter, you bake it off, which takes about a half an hour for 2 batches worth. And it's just, oh, it's too easy. Got to be very careful about that. But he decided to share a couple of them. He was like, you know, hey, I'm going to give this one to so-and-so, and then this one to so-and-so, and I was like, sure, they're yours. I mean, do what you want with them. And he went to another meeting or something and said, because when I gave him the bag, he was like, awesome, I forgot my lunch. So he came back from a meeting later, and I was still downstairs finishing up what I was doing. And he went, hey, Chris, by the way, and he holds up this, you know, half-eaten, still in the saran wrap whoopie pie and goes, these are amazing. And I just kind of went, thanks. You know, I'm glad you like them. That was the point, you know. So that was nice, getting to make something and give something and then having them turn around and be genuinely appreciative to my face. Doesn't happen too often. So that's what's been going on here. Sunday is Queen's Pride, which is our borough. And actually the parade happens right near our house. I may as well just stay in the house and see what I can see from our windows. But it's also, and this has happened the last couple of years too, the Housing Works Open Air Street Fair on Crosby Street in Manhattan, where the bookstore is. And Sam has to go in early, and he called me a little while ago and he said, well, what day should I take off in exchange for it? Because it's a Sunday and I don't usually work Sunday. And I said, well, it doesn't affect the following weekend, right? You'll still have the 9th and 10th off? And he went, yeah. I said, well, so get Friday off. We'll have a long weekend together. That sounds fine to me. So hopefully that's what he'll be able to do. I realized from the clock on my counter that I've been talking for a while again. That's what happens when I don't do these regularly. I apologize. Hopefully I haven't droned on about one subject too long. I will let you know how the pasta shells turn out tonight. And you'll get that information sooner than later if you have me on Facebook or Twitter or something. Okay, I'll talk to y'all next time.